Welcome back to another episode, guys. Now today we'll be looking at actually transferring some of that beautiful lush token that we've deployed on the Chronos testnet. We've now fetched the balance, the name, the total supply. We know how to read data from the read methods here. Today we'll be looking at writes. We'll be looking at stuff like transferring to an address, and then obviously specifying the amount. I also want to show you guys how we can add the token to MetaMask so that you know, even Trust Wallet, same thing, so that you can actually manage your token more effectively on a UI of sorts. So yeah, let's get started. So first things first, let's start with MetaMask. Let's copy our strange contract at the moment. You can grab it from the contract manager. You can grab it from here. But we can effectively then open MetaMask, which either can be your phone, can be the I guess web extension, it can be anywhere really. You can go assets, we can go import token, smack your contract address in there, and MetaMask will do the rest. So there we go, import token. I'm rich. I've got like 1 trillion strange tokens, which is excellent. Of course, I need to share that with the world. So let's go ahead and transfer some of this. In Unity, back where we were last, we got our token name and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and we'll just create a fairly simple button. We will call this the transfer year wealth button. Alright, so we can just smack that bad boy down here. I might run out of button size eventually, but you know what, that's fine. Come on, none. Alright, cool. I might make that a little bit smaller. Alright, a little bit smaller. Perfect. So I know the naming scheme is a bit strange, but we'll just be using the transfer method. So when you see where's it from? The transfer method in Solidity for our contract, we need 2 arguments, 2 and the value, or well, the amount. Now, remember last time we did this, we made use of read functions, which looked a little bit like this, and a little bit like this, and a little bit like this. The one differentiating factor between read and writes for the Web3 wallet part of the SDK is that contract.call becomes contract.call_data. So if you have a look at this method that I set up right here, we actually do contract.call_data. Now, I mean, I'll keep it uniform. I'll just do that. Contract is new contract, which is our contract manager. So really, the RPC, the contract in itself, it stays exactly the same. Matter of fact, the data stays the same as well. The only thing that changes is the call data, the contract call being call data instead of call. So write instead of read. In this case, we're interacting with the transfer function, which requires us to specify the chain ID and then our native on-chain value. Now, when it comes to writes, we're actually sending a transaction on chain, so that's why we have to specify a little bit more information, and why we have to actually send a transaction to the chain. I'll zoom that out a little bit just to give you guys a bit of a better idea. But it's only with writes. It's only with writes that you need this. When you write to a contract or send a transaction, you have to specify the chain ID, the value, the gas price, and the gas limit. But when you do a read, none of that's really necessary because we're not really, going to be paying gas. We're not going to be interacting with a chain on that kind of level. But with transfer tokens, we will actually need to pay gas. So we specify the chain ID, which is the Chronos testnet. I mean, you guys probably know your own chains. I won't comment too much on that. And then the value here is the on-chain value. So for instance, if we wanted to send BNB while on the Binance Smart Chain, we wouldn't be specifying any of these amounts or any of that. We would just be specifying 1 for 1 BNB, 4 for 4 BNB, and so forth. Similar thing here. If we were on Guli, for instance, so Ethereum, if we use chain ID 5 and we put a value of 20, we would be sending 20 ETH via the GUI network, and so forth and so forth. But because we're not on any of those chains and we're sending strange token, which is our custom token, we need to keep that 0. Otherwise, it's going to cause heaps of issues. So just keep that at 0. And then of course we need to send it to an account, which you can see right here to the left, which will be an account that I guess we want to send this to. So I copy pasted another test account that I have. I'll be sending it to that address as an example, but you could really use the player's address here. You know, when players connect to play your game, you can store their address in the player prefs account, and then you can send it to a contract, to a player. It's really up to your creativity. The amount of coins we want to send, 1,000's a little bit boring, to be honest. Let's do something like, I don't know, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then our decimals. Now this is another thing that's quite you need to add the decimals. If you don't add these decimals, it's going to send like 0.000123455 instead of a proper 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, which is kind of so it's just something to remember. Whenever you deal with any kind of numbers in Web3Unity that has to go to the blockchain, remember to add your decimals in there, because that can sometimes catch you out if you're not aware of it. Cool, so yeah, make a call called data. We're passing the to account, we're passing the amount. The gas limit and gas price, you can change this, but by leaving it blank, we're letting MetaMask do the work for us, which is great. I leave it blank all the time. It's never failed me. It works great. MetaMask is pretty good for sorting that out. And then of course, we send the transaction, which is in the form of a string, and of course the the transaction hash will be returned to us after it's been completed. So we could even do something like, for instance, we can do something like I would probably do it this way, to be honest. Cool. And whoopsie daisy, that is also not correct. There we go. I'd probably do what I feel like system numerics don't like this. Ooh, I can't quite remember. I feel like numerics does not like this. Okay, we'll leave this out of here, but we can just say debug log, and we can just say there was an issue with the transaction. Alright, great. So at least now you've got a bit of an error log, if you want to call it that. That's not really it, but it's better than nothing. It will try to send the transaction, and if for some reason the user declines, the transaction fails, whatever, it will debug.log saying there was an issue with that transaction. So let's go and just straight up give it a shot. You know, we've really just specified that we want to use the transfer method, same as the previous episode, but instead of reading a value, we're going to be sending a transaction this time to the blockchain. So if I just make sure that I'm here, cool. If I just assign the actual function before I do anything, like a Muppet, that'd probably be a good idea. Cool. Let's do transfer tokens, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if we click on transfer year wealth, oh boy, there we go. Value cannot be null. What have I done? What have I done? Alright, let's have a look and see what has happened. I just want to make sure that I haven't mucked up anything. That's alright. Okay. Value cannot be null. What are you saying that to me? To account, transfer amount, to account amount, contract data. Let me just make sure, because I'm pretty sure. There we go. I knew I made a mistake. I had my old contract in here. There we go. Contract manager dot. Oh boy, what did they want again? The token address. Okay, contract manager dot token. There we go. Perfect. Now that should work, because I had my old contract in there. This is kind of my boilerplate code that I just always use for absolutely everything. And yes, I sometimes catch myself like that. What have I done? Why is it being so rude? It seems as if my RPC endpoint is timing out. That is not a very good thing, to be honest. That is not good at all. Interesting. So this is just a great example of how crucial RPCs can be. Alright, let's just quickly go and have a look and see if that worked. Well, I mean, it did send, to be fair. It, okay. Pause. Okay, well, I mean, I did not expect that, but my RPC node has just died. So if that's a reason, no token data is being fetched. Wow, that's quite ironic. Okay, but just ignore the missing token details at the moment. That's on me. That's my node being down. I'll fix that in a bit. What I did want to do real quick though is just add some sort of visual confirmation that our transaction, actually went through. We can say transaction sent successfully. Cool. So now we know when the transaction goes through, it will let us know. If there's an issue, it should tell us as well. So let's go ahead. We should see if we send a transaction, this amount will leave, and we should see a hash in our MetaMask as well. So let's go ahead. We'll click play. We can go transfer you wealth. Just ignore that. It's going to open up on, oh, this is the wrong account. It will not work. That'll definitely not work. There we go. So MetaMask is going to open with the transfer method. Let's give it a moment. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strange tokens being sent from my account to another account using the transfer method. And then I'm pretty sure the hex is there, but the data won't be. So if we confirm this, go copy, go back to Unity. There we go. So we can see transaction sent successfully. It's actually been successfully sent. So if I go into not that one, if we go into here and we go into MetaMask, it's actually pending at the moment. We'll just have a look at this, give it a moment. Curious to see if this is going to pop up on, oh, there you go, it's done. So we just sent that, although that probably won't show. Let's do this. Contract manager, we'll grab the token contract. Whoops, that one here. Come on. Cool, there's a transfer. There we go. So we made a transfer. I'll just zoom that in, sorry. We made a transfer from my account to my test account for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strange tokens. And of course, you can actually have a look at your token on the Explorer as well if you want to see it. Oh, actually, the other one did go through. But there you go. So you guys have effectively learned how to interact with write functions this time, how to send tokens. So we're at a point now where we've imported our own token. We're fetching the data from the blockchain, like the balances, the names, the total supply, and today we've done our first write function. Now, the first one is a little bit lengthy. Sorry for the length of this video, but from here on going forward, now that you know that boilerplate code, we'll just be cutting and pasting bits of data in and out to call different methods. For instance, minting an NFT, or I don't know, changing the URI of an NFT. But hopefully with what you've learned so far in the series, you would have been able to create your own cryptocurrency, import it into your own game build, and show your friends, hey look, I've got my own money here and I can transfer it around. So yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking around this far, and I'll see you guys in the next video.